Here are the pros and cons of living in Brookhaven, Georgia. The first pro is its prime location. It's in a great part of the metro Atlanta area. While it's not part of the city of Atlanta, it is literally neighboring the city of Atlanta. And Brookhaven is its own city, but it's very easy access to Buckhead and to Midtown, easy access to I-85, also to MARTA. All of these things come with its location being within the perimeter of Interstate 285. Interstate 285 kind of goes around the city of Atlanta, and we often refer to it as the perimeter because of that. And so all of the areas that are within that circle or within 285 are a bit more urban or more city-like. And then all of the areas, or for the most part, all of the areas that are outside of 285 are a bit more suburban, a bit farther away from the city of Atlanta. Because Brookhaven is so close to the city of Atlanta and within the perimeter, it has a great feel, very easy access to all of those amenities. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living. We put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the suburbs around Atlanta. Pro number 2 for living in Brookhaven is that it's very easily walkable. Keep in mind that the city of Brookhaven, while it is very close to Atlanta, has its own neighborhoods, has its own shopping areas. It's not quite as densely populated as the city of Atlanta, like Midtown or Buckhead. It is a bit more suburban in certain parts, but it is also very easily walkable. And this is not really something that you can find in other suburbs that are farther away from Atlanta, like Marietta or Alpharetta. It's not so easy to walk to all of like the shops and restaurants when you live in one of those farther out suburbs. But because Brookhaven is a bit more densely populated than those farther out suburbs, you can easily walk to all of those things. Of course, if you live in one of those neighborhoods, and then you would have to maybe kind of drive a bit depending on where exactly, but in general, Brookhaven is a bit more walkable than some of the other suburbs of Metro Atlanta. You also have lots of sidewalks and trails. Peachtree Creek Greenway is there in Brookhaven, so lots of different options for being able to get around the city. Pro number 3 of living in Brookhaven is its upscale dining and shopping. If you're thinking about moving to Brookhaven, or you just have any questions about what it's like to live here, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm a local real estate agent here in Metro Atlanta, and I'd be happy to help with your relocation needs to the Metro Atlanta area. But the upscale shopping and the dining is definitely a big reason why so many people move here. Lenox Square and Phipps Plaza are nearby to Brookhaven, so very easy to get to those shopping areas with some great stores. Again, very high-end kind of shopping and restaurants all around that Brookhaven area. And then also just super short, a hop, skip, and a jump away from Brookhaven is Buckhead. And so Buckhead also has a lot of that kind of shopping. In fact, Lenox and Phipps are in Buckhead, but very close to Brookhaven, 5 to 10 minute drive from Brookhaven to all of that shopping. Pro number 4 of living in Brookhaven, and then we're going to start talking about the cons of living here. Pro number 4 is that it's very family friendly. When you talk about all of the areas that are within the perimeter, super close to the city of Atlanta, you don't really talk about a lot of family friendly areas in Atlanta. Like downtown Atlanta is not the area that I would suggest families move to. It's good for other things, but it's not like family friendly is not the thing that downtown Atlanta is known for. Brookhaven, however, is very different. It's not like downtown, but it's still within the perimeter and still has that city feel. And so this is a big thing that brings a lot of people here. The excellent schools in Brookhaven, the safety in Brookhaven, all of these things bring lots of families to this area. And so certainly I would say Brookhaven is a family-friendly suburb. And then pro number 5 is the very diverse kind of homes that you can find. You can find high-rise condos around here. You can find historic bungalows. You can find regular condos, single-family residents. So there's all kinds of different housing options. And so this is great for young professionals, for families, for retirees. In general, Brookhaven really has a lot to offer for all of these kinds of different living situations. Okay, now for the cons of living in Brookhaven. Of course, any part of anywhere that you decide to move move to is going to have some good and some bad. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the bad of living in any area, because when you're thinking about relocating to any city, it's important that you have the whole picture to really understand what you're getting yourself into here. So let's talk about the cons of living in Brookhaven. And one of those is that it is on the high side of the cost of living. The cost of homes and transportation and shopping and things like that are all a bit higher than some of the other parts of Metro Atlanta. So that's a big deterrent for some people. Also, the amount of traffic being so close to the center of Atlanta, you can imagine this is one of the most densely populated parts of the entire state. And so Brookhaven, for that reason, you can expect a lot of traffic in that area. Another con of living here is the limited amount of yard space that you would get for your home. Because it's so close to Atlanta, you're not going to really get like an acre of land for your home in this area. It is going to be more city-like. And so that also means that you may be a bit closer to your neighbors. And so if you're looking for a suburb where you have a lot of space in between the homes, then Brookhaven might not be the right area for that. Another big one is the ongoing amount of construction that you see in Brookhaven. Really, any part of Metro Atlanta that's within the perimeter is really going to be experiencing a lot of construction. This is an ongoing thing that we regularly see in Atlanta, and Brookhaven is no different. It really has its own amount of ongoing construction as well. And then another con for living in Brookhaven would be property taxes. Again, higher cost of living here, higher property taxes. This also means higher insurance for your home. And so in general, you can expect these things to be a bit higher. The trade-off is that this is one of the best parts of Metro Atlanta to live in. The reason why it's so expensive to live here is because so many people want to live here. There's so many great parts about living in Brookhaven, but all of those things have driven up the costs of living in this area. Brookhaven is a great place for families or for young professionals or retirees, but not really a great place for someone who is looking to retire and get away from the city and have like small town, quiet country living. Not great for that. Also not really good for like the budget conscious buyer who's looking for like a first time home below 500,000. Again, Brookhaven is not really good for that, but for families, for young professionals, this is definitely a great area. Of course, whether or not you move here really depends on a lot of factors, and one of those factors is going to be what it's like to buy a home here in Brookhaven. So I've made an entire video about the process of buying a home in Brookhaven. You can check out that video right here. I'll see you in the next one.